up, Maniacs? John here at Maniacs Garage. We're over at our local alignment shop. Brian's gonna hopefully work some magic on this bad boy. So this is the second time it's being aligned. First time was over a year ago. The interior wasn't in it quite yet, so it wasn't really a true alignment. And we've noticed since that the car, I think, is crab walking to the right. I don't think it's my imagination. So hopefully he's gonna be able to kind of figure out what's going on with that. And then the other big thing that we want to take care of is the steering angle situation on the steering wheel. That's the plan for today. Let's see how it goes.
Everybody pass right this way.
When you set the camber on these, the upper, that may also be why your tire's sticking out further on this side, so we're gonna have to mess with that. I don't know if the computer will allow me to see those measurements, but we'll check it out anyway.
So you were saying that two of the adjustments are done at the same time?
Yeah, we'll have to mess with, if you mess with the lower camber here, you'll have to mess with the toe too. But then you have the upper camber adjustment as well, so it's gonna put a little bit more
So it's just more challenging?
Yeah, a little bit more. We'll put more excitement into it, I guess. Actually, offsets for the dishes in the back. Usually we use these for dualies, but since they're so dished, we have to use these on here.
So these are the sensors that the machine picks up?
Yeah, it's actually some lasers. Some lasers up top and markings on the front, all the dots and everything.
Okay.
And that just correlates whatever the computer does in its software, and it just tells the correct angles. After you do what's called a rolling compensation, shows you the camber and toe, and then we'll do a caster swing, and that'll actually show the measurements. It'll give you the 3 main measurements. It'll also do other measurements too, but most of the time we don't need those when we do alignments, just the main.
How much is a machine like this?
I'd say close to 20 grand probably. It might be more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's at least 20. It might be more, but these are the good ones.
That's cool though. So these are all like little offsets, and you have different sizes for it.
Yeah,
to be able
you
to
have
get it
different
into
clamping
the wheel.
arms for different diameter wheels and tires. Kind of nice, especially since you've got like a 7-inch dish on the front and like a 9-inch dish in the back.
Right, that's about right. All right, so what do we got? We got the 4 things on.
Yep, everything's good. We're gonna do a rolling compensation right now. I'm gonna check camber and toe, and then we'll basically just turn the front wheels left and right, and the computer is going to do all the magic basically. It's going to do all the calculations to see how far off we are and what we need to do to bring it back within spec.
Man, if the wheels look like the wheels on the image here, now we're in trouble.
It's quite exaggerated.
I know, that's funny.
So let's see here. We're going to do a caster sweep. When you said you were crab walking, it's minus 1.09 degrees on your toe. It's definitely going to cause a crab walk. Camber's not terrible. Your front toe's out, but when we mess with the back, it's going to change the front. Thrust angle changes.
So the process is you start with the back, actually?
Always start with the back. Yep. Start with the back. Start with your camber, then do toe. Or if you have to do them together, you can adjust it that. You have to do it that way. And then you go to the front, adjust your camber, caster, and your toe.
Cool. And does this also mean that the left rear is actually towed in, possibly?
It is towed in, yeah. You actually have.
Then that would definitely make
sense.
sense.
Yes, it will. The whole rear end is actually like this, just to the right.
Makes sense.
Yep, you're gonna crab walk to the right quite a bit.
I always kind of had a concern that maybe the way the body went on to the BMW
it wasn't quite square.
Off.
Yeah.
But we've taken a bunch of measurements, and we're no engineers by any means, right? This was all shade tree stuff, right?
Right.
But it was pretty dead on. And so, but as far as the machine is concerned, it doesn't even know where the body is.
It doesn't.
So
No.
all it cares about is the suspension,
All it
and
cares
it's telling
about-
us that it is pointing to the right.
Yep.
So I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
that that's the case there.
Yes. Now you're tracking it. So what do you want to do as far as measurements? Any ideas for how much camber do you want or not want? How much? What do you want it set at? Factory specs?
I think I want to go close to factory specs, but lean out into tracking it. So moderate track, not mostly street, a little bit of track. So kind of performance, I guess, setup. Not full on dedicated track use. I think that's going to suck to drive it on the freeway, and we want to try drive it to Cars and Coffee and
right. You don't want
some
to
things
your
like
tires
that.
too.
No.
Yeah. So Right now, the rear on the right is right at about limits for what the factory spec says.
Okay.
I would say you could probably go up to 3 degrees of camber without chewing up the tires. The biggest wear angle is going to be the toe. So if your toe's not within spec,
and your negative is going to eat that inside like crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And on the other side, it's going to eat, you know, whatever side drags, basically. So as long as we get the toe within spec, you can pretty much run whatever camber you're gonna run basically without having all that wear. If it's too aggressive of camber, you will get just the barely, you know, the inner edge right here worn. But I don't think we're going to be anywhere near that. So
I mean, the negative 2 sounds all right. The way that it looked, you know, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it had definitely a noticeable, you know, negative camber on it. So
I'd rather sacrifice a little bit of camber for a proper toe set.
I agree with you. So right now, where are we at then on the toe out?
We're still
negative 2.
I messed with the camber so that way I could just neutral, so I can try to adjust the upper and get something out of the upper, but we're at negative 2 degrees on the toe on the one side. This side came in a little bit better once we adjusted the camber. It's actually toed out a little bit. That little bit of camber adjustment, it was 1 degree of camber made almost a degree in the opposite direction for the toe. So that's how big of a difference it can make.
So on the right rear, if you were to decrease the camber, would it help?
It should. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, go ahead, you know, if that's what it takes.
Yeah.
If there is just absolutely not enough adjustment, if I need to do custom stuff to it to give it more adjustment, would I have to get into this lower control arm here and literally extend it?
You can do, I think they sell aftermarket toe arms for these.
Okay.
They'll be like, just like the upper one that you got.
Oh, okay.
And they'll just be, you'll just get more adjustment out of it. It'll have probably like a adjustment in the middle here, and you can choose to keep the
They'll
center
push it out more on the back?
Yeah, well, it's got more of an
end.
adjustment, so you can get a whole 2 inches of adjustment instead of this small half an inch swing here.
0.1 right now, looks like positive.
Towed in slightly.
Towed in slightly, yep.
Yeah, that's where it's supposed to be. As long as camber's close. Oh yeah, we're gonna be great.
Camber's
Perfect.
negative 2.4.
It'll be
cool.
perfect. And I could just make the driver's side match, and it'll be good. And we'll set the front, and we're good to
Send
go.
it.
Yeah.
Hard to get to that with that stiffener bar, huh?
It's not that bad. The washers falling down make it. And I got to take the inner 2 most bolts out so I can get a little bit more adjustment. You have different bolt holes up here.
Yeah. So Brian's working on the camber adjustment right now. The car's got aftermarket coilovers, which came with camber adjustment on the front. We're actually going to try to go for a little bit more negative camber than I originally intended. So we're going to set it up a little bit more for track. So I think that's going to be a good decision at the end. But I'm really happy he was able to get the toe figured out on that right rear. That was a big concern. My suspicions were correct. The car was crab walking pretty heavily. I gotta give kudos to Brian and Uru Automotive here in Green. Actually, they're kind of all around. Hey, Uru is pretty much like all around. Is it mostly Southern Arizona or?
It's only Tucson, actually.
It's Tucson. Kudos to Brian and Uru Automotive. You know, he really is going the extra mile to get this thing figured out. Fun fact here with Brian. So he's doing the alignment on this thing, but he is actually a pretty crazy fabricator / other things, apparently.
Yeah, I got a couple, I have 2 IS300s, one of which has a 1UZ out of an LS400 in it, and the other one has a 3UZ out of a GS430.
So code language, he's talking about Lexus. And he's talking about V8 swap.
Yeah. 2
Into
V8 swaps. Yeah,
two V8
I don't
swaps.
like
And
those.
one's like a twin turbo?
No, I wish. No, that will be.
Okay.
That will be a turbo.
Okay.
Yeah. One's actually, I'm just finishing it because I sold it. So I'm just finishing it up to a friend of mine. He sold me his other car, and I'm going to be doing finishing the 3UZ swap on that one, which will eventually have some turbos on it. But it's also got a CD009 transmission out of Infinity, because they're basically bulletproof, 6-speed manual. It's fantastic.
Wow.
I have a rear end out of a GS400 as well, better gearing, stronger. They're good for like 1,200 foot-pounds of torque.
So that's pretty crazy. So that's a lot of mishmash stuff. How did it all mount in? Did you have to make mounts for all that,
Actually,
or everything kind of bolted in?
It's like Legos.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, the engine fits so well.
Wow.
The biggest issue is the headers. Do some custom ones, but if I do turbos,
you taped up
I'll
some
have to
stainless
anyway.
ones for that, or not?
No, I just modified the stock ones.
Okay.
Yeah. When I do turbos, then I'll take up some stainless ones, but it's a lot of work, and I don't want to do it twice, so I'm gonna do it one time only.
When the turbo's gone?
Yeah,
nice.
Basically.
Kind of crazy, you know, it's so cool that you just run into people that are, you know, if you're working at a shop, you're likely going to be a car guy anyway. It's just really cool to see that, you know.
Do this and not enjoy cars every day, although some of the other guys think I'm crazy. Bill, he's been doing this since, I don't know, 30, 40 years, and he's like, I can't understand how you can go home and work on cars too.
Right.
And I said, you know, it's all completely different than what I do here. This is maintenance work, and you know, but at home it's fabricating and fun stuff, you know, stuff that I actually enjoy doing. Wiring, which is also what people hate. That last IS300 I built, the entire harness for, that engine makes 800 wheel horsepower, and I completely fabricated the whole harness for that one. So basically the whole car. So
that's so awesome, man.
Yeah.
What's recommended on these BMWs?
It's actually, this machine actually adjusts it to whatever the factory spec is, whether it be towed in or towed out. I'd have to look. It just right now it just tells me where 0 is, so
Okay.
I just get it as close to 0.
Okay.
You can actually run through actual specs on these if it's got to be like set up for somebody doing autocross or something. You can set the machine up to do that, or custom specs. It'll allow for that too. But 99.9% of what I do every day is just setting it up to drive down the road straight. So.
Sure.
Everybody pass license plate. Everybody pass license plate.
It's not crab walking. I can feel the rear end isn't all.
Feels nice, man. Yeah, so, Brian, what do you think, man?
It's nice.
Everybody pass license plate.
Drives nice, man. I'm really happy with it. Look at this. We got the special treatment. He's actually going for a ride with me. And steering wheel's nice and straight. We'll still have to deal with that light there. We'll see what that's going to be. But yeah, super happy, man. All right, so we're going to hope to delete that steering angle light. Possibly get some traction control. You reading anything fun?
Not yet. BMWs have a lot of systems.
That's a nice setup. Is that your own personal?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Most shops don't supply technicians with scanners like this.
That's an expensive piece right there.
Steering column switching center malfunction. Front axle disc brake wear pads. Steering wheel sensor adjustment, so we can get rid of.
Actually, you know what? Let me record those. Can I take a picture of that?
Yeah. I'm just readjusting all of the sensors because I doubt they've ever been done since you've done the swap.
Right.
So we'll just relearn everything, and hopefully that will take care of it.
That's cool. It's literally the ABS like pump or whatever unit is actually, it's like cycling right now. I do have a guy that actually has done some coding on this car as far as removing systems.
Okay.
I gotta actually have him get back into it again because it still thinks the trunk is open. Because as you know, doesn't see anything back there.
Right.
So there's a few things that were kind of missed that we're gonna have to code out still. Well, here we are. Brian, you did an amazing job, dude. Thanks so much on this thing. Way above and beyond to help us out. So Uru, check them out. They are in the Tucson area, but they do have a few locations for it. Hopefully they have guys like Brian at the other locations.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
All right, well, hey, you guys make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.